Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, which probably will be a bit of a negative video, see we are going over the top 8 or top 10 most annoying features in the Crew Motorfest. What do I mean by most annoying? We will see as we go over these things. The things that annoy me the most. It's a bit of a personal video. Some of those things you will agree with, some of them you might not agree with, but we will see. The first thing we want to talk about is a simple thing, which you would expect any game to have nowadays, is if you go into the options, go to your device manager. In this case I only have the keyboard because I don't have the wheel connected, otherwise I would have over here I would have two options, keyboard and wheel, but in this case I'm just doing it with the keyboard here. We're not gonna drive, we're just gonna go over these things. We can bind things here. It shows you your keyboard or your controller or your wheel on the right side, so you can see where you're mapping what. You can set it to default and you can press escape to go back in my case, or B or whatever it is on your controller. In 2023 in most games you have something called reset or empty the page. Even in 2014 in the Crew 1 they had that option. You could empty every single thing and map it one by one the way you wanted it. Here we have this annoying, hey, do you want to swap this because you already mapped it on this, do you want to swap it? No, we don't want to swap it. We want to double map things in certain. I give you one simple example. We go into the general. We have nitro on E. In my case, E next to the W, next to the throttle, that makes sense. I think by default it's on the left shift. I don't like using shift or control on my keyboard. I just want it on E. So I put it on E, no problem. Now of course that means that, for instance, if you go to third person and you put it on run, you're walking. You are not in a vehicle. You should be able to use that same nitro button, in my case the E key, because you're not ever gonna press nitro when you are walking around. So you should be able to double map that. Try doing that, what I just did here. You should try doing that in your game. Try put the run in the third person, try putting it on your nitro button. The thing is gonna pop up and it's gonna say like, hey, listen mate, you have mapped your nitro on E, do you wanna swap it? No, I don't wanna swap it. I wanna double map it, because I'm never gonna use run when I'm in a vehicle, I'm never gonna use nitro when I'm outside of the vehicle. Should be able to use that same key, or on a controller or on a wheel, more importantly. It's not so important on a keyboard because we have a lot of keys that we can map, but on a controller or on a wheel we are a bit limited on buttons. We should be able to map that run on our nitro button. If you do that in this menu here, game says, nah, you have nitro on that button, do you want to swap it? Doesn't work. But as you could see, I have my nitro on E and I have my run on. How the hell is it working while we cannot do it in the menu? Well, told to us by the devs of the Crew 2, if you open on your desktop, you should have some icon called My PC or This PC or something. You will see your desktop, your downloads, your documents, whatever. If you click on the documents, you have all of these bindings and other situations from all the games that you have. Automatically puts some sort of folder in your documents folder. You have one called the Crew Motorfest, and then you have the bindings for your controller or for your wheel, in case you use a wheel. If you have played the Crew 2, the first thing I would do is, like, you're familiar with the Crew 2, delete this folder, go to documents again, go into the Crew 2, there is that same folder, just copy paste it into the Motorfest folder. Then you will have exactly the same button layout as you had in the Crew 2. That's one option of doing it. The other option is you could go into the Crew Motorfest keyboard, and then you come to something like this, which is an open source XML file. That's where you can find your bindings. As you can see here, the name is Nitro, the keyboard device is E. I have it on E for the Nitro, and then if you go a little bit lower in that list, you will see the first person simulation acceleration is E. In other words, your sprint. It was left shift or something for the run, I don't know, I changed it here. How do you change that? You right click on that thing and you open it with something like WordPad. Then it opens in a WordPad, or Notepad will also work probably. And then you can just change it here. You go to File, save it, boot up the game, and it will work. It's as simple as that sometimes. But here in the menu, no, not possible. That's one way of rebinding your buttons. Of course, you need to think about all the consequences if you change one of these keys. Like for instance, don't put anything, like in my case I have it on my numpad, which is the look left, look right, whatever. Don't put anything on these cameras. But also here we have the same thing here. This is the vehicle camera. That's when you're in a car. Camera behind the car. Here we have the third person camera, which is a camera behind if you're walking around in the main stage. I have them on 8 different buttons here now. You should be able to put that on the same buttons. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 should be exactly the same as these 1, 2, 3, 4. That works fine, because you're never going to have a vehicle camera if you're walking inside the main stage. You're never going to have a third person camera if you're outside inside a vehicle. Things like that. So, point being, key bindings. Just give us a button that we can empty this and map it the way we want it. And don't give us any conflicts with things where there should not be a conflict. Like, if you put the run on the third person on Nitro button, there should never ever be a conflict, because you're never going to run when you're in a car, and you're never going to use Nitro when you are walking in the main stage. That's the first thing. Second thing that annoys the hell out of me is we paid 120 bucks for an Ultimate Edition, in my case. Meanwhile, there is already a 20% discount. Until October 20th, I think, the game is already on a 20% discount. There's also a second 5-hour trial that you can try it out for free. As they did like on the launch, there is another free weekend or something where you can play 5 hours for free. If you want to buy the game, it's 20% discount. Why do we already have a discount so early? That's my first question. My guess, they didn't sell enough copies as they would think they would. Which probably has to do with some of the things that we are mentioning here in this annoyance video. The standard game is 70 bucks, the gold edition is 100 bucks, the ultimate edition is 120 bucks. Normal prices. I'm not talking about discounts or whatever. So what are we getting if you, let's say, you know, I'm not gonna buy a standard edition, let's say we're gonna buy a gold edition. What are we getting? We are getting a year 1 pass and 3 days early access. 3 days early access, of course, if you now buy a gold edition, you don't have those 3 days early access. So you will just have the year 1 pass with 25 exclusive vehicles. There's nothing exclusive about it, they are exclusive for about a week. Except for 2 cars, which is the Charger Hellcat Red Eye and the Chevrolet Chevelle Super Sports. 2 cars which are exclusive, the other 23 cars out of 25 which are in the year 1 pass, you will get for free when they are released. If you just have a standard game, you can buy them for in-game bucks 1 week later. So they have a 1 week exclusivity. But that 1 week early access, you get 1 week early access to these vehicles. That's why you pay 30 bucks more. Standard compared to gold edition. So you pay 30 bucks more for 2 vehicles. The Dodge Charger Hellcat, the Red Eye and the Chevrolet Chevelle. That's a lot of money for 2 cars. If you pay an extra 20 bucks and you buy the Ultimate Edition, then we already have 50 bucks difference between the standard and the Ultimate Edition. You will also get these 2 exclusive cars, and on top of that you will get the Ultimate fitted pack, which includes 2 exclusive liveries. You get them with a car, you get these exclusive liveries on a car, a Honda Civic and a Porsche 718. but you can just buy the car in the game with in-game bucks. So there's nothing exclusive about these cars, it's just a livery. So for 50 bucks more, you get 2 exclusive cars in the year 1 pass and 2 exclusive liveries in the ultimate pack. For 50 bucks, you can buy EA Sports WRC, which is a full game. I find that exclusive bullshit, which a Ubisoft exclusive is not much exclusive about it. Now, I was brought up in the 80s and the 90s, that's when we started playing gaming. When you bought something exclusive, you also had exclusive content. If we would compare that to, let's say, the early 90s, if you pay 30 bucks more for an Ultimate Edition or a Gold Edition, you had the whole 25 cars for the year 1 pass exclusive. Sort of like Forza is doing with the car pass. Why are we getting 25 year 1 pass cars and you only have 2 exclusive? We paid 30 bucks more. For 30 bucks more you would expect to at least get all these 25 cars exclusive. So my advice at this moment in time, just buy a standard game. Unless you really want that red high Hellcat. Also there, do not be surprised that there will be suddenly one of the next weeks, there will be some sort of Hellcat Super Sports Edition or something in a summit, which means they find another way to bring in the so-called exclusive car in the game again. They will make a different version with a different livery and some different bumpers, and you still can get your hands on that Hellcat. But the normal one will probably be exclusive forever. Just don't fall for the trap. If you're interested in this game, just buy a standard game. There are more than enough cars that you don't have to worry about those 2 so-called exclusive cars. The exclusive liveries are not even that great. It's like, I can give you one example if I can find it, because another annoyance, we come to that later, but... So I will show you the car, there it is. This is the Honda Civic Type R Fitted Edition. There's nothing exclusive about this car except for that livery. The car you can just buy. So this is the 20 bucks. Well, I guess this is worth 10 bucks, this livery, because it's this and the Porsche 718 with exclusive liveries. That's what you pay the difference between Ultimate and Gold Edition. 2 exclusive wraps, and it's not even, you know, it's a bit of a colors. You can probably remake that with your livery editor. Although, probably not. Because apparently also in the livery editor there are all kind of bugs. You can save groups or whatever, but you can only put one of your groups on the next car that you want to do your livery on, and then the rest doesn't save or the rest doesn't fit on it. So the livery editor is already completely broken, which is strange, because it worked pretty okay in the previous game, since they have been copy-pasted, which brings us to the next point, which is content. A lot of these stuffs, they have been renamed, but they're just copy-pasted from the previous game. And in most cases, it was better in the previous game. We'll come to that later, but for instance, to swap parts, we had a button in the previous game where we could swap all the performance parts as once and put them on another car. Now we have to do it one by one, because the button is missing. They copy-pasted it, but they forgot a button. The most important one in the whole thing. And things like that. So yeah, content. Let's talk about content, shall we? Now, I have about 300 hours in this game, I think. Something like that. Which is quite a lot, you know. We've been streaming most of the time. 6 hours, I think, was the shortest stream we did. The longest stream, 11-12 hours. So let's say on average 8 hours a day we have been streaming this game. We have been playing it, give or take. Yesterday when I didn't stream, but that's like the only day that I took off. So the rest is... And yeah, I took it off yesterday for the simple reason. Japanese playlist completed, Hawaiian playlist completed, and yeah, and we can go on like this. Every single thing of their main feature, the playlist, completed. We've done the events, we've done the side activities, we took the pictures, we have done every single of the challenges. Except for one. There's one challenge. I've been looking for 3 days now to find a lobby to get this Shelby into the top 15. We finished in the top 5 or something with the Shelby when in the grand race, when the street tier 1 was the first discipline, didn't count. we finished somewhere in the top 10, where the street tier 1 was the second discipline, didn't count. So I'm assuming reach the top 15 in a grand race actually means that you have to drive over the finish line with this Shelby. In other words, the street tier 1 needs to be the last discipline in the grand race. Now, that's all fine, only that I have been checking. I already figured out meanwhile that the grand race changes every 15 and 45 minutes into the hour. So at 1:15, at 1:45, at 2:15, at 2, that's when the grand race changes. And then it will be the same for like 30 minutes, so you know, oh, it's not street tier 1 at the end. Don't have to worry about it for the next 30 minutes, because it will only change again in 30 minutes. Which you of course can see here in the menu. There, you see, this is the grand race, and it tells you what the disciplines are. Oh no. No, it doesn't tell you that. Oh no, of course it doesn't tell you that, because this menu, which is probably the number 3 of most annoying things in the game, is completely full of useless information. A grand race, I want to know what are the disciplines. There are a bunch of challenges in the playlist down here, which are related to grand race. You have to do things with a bike, you have to do things with an Alpha GP. So you would like to know what is in here in that playlist, in that grand race. What is available for the next 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes it will change. It pops up on the left of your screen if you have notifications on. If you just happen to have them off, or you were just getting a coffee, when it pops up, then you don't know. So that should always be on this thing here. It should tell us what is currently in the grand race. Can you find it? Yes, you can. But then you have to open your map, zoom out. You're gonna have to figure out where. That is what the menu tells you, but then you need to be familiar with the map. You're gonna have to figure out where the grand race is at the moment. So we are looking for that symbol somewhere over there. No, somewhere over there. No, I don't know. We're gonna have to figure it out. And then we run into the Demolition Royale. We were close, but it's not the same. There it is. We figured it out. Here is the grand race. It is Hypercar, Street Tier 2 and Alpha GP. But we have to come to the map to figure this thing out, because in their wonderful menu over there, it is not visible. Okay. From every week we also play the summit. So let's have a look where we are in the summit in the leaderboard. Let's quickly do that. Go to activities, go into the summit. Let's assume we're somewhere in silver. Okay, where are we? I don't know. Oh, over here. We're in 2400 platinum at the moment. It's very nice, but let's assume we have silver here. So we need to improve if we have silver. So let's do that quickly, and let's see what is the score for the gold and the platinum medal at this moment in time. So, oh, we have to go in here. Oh, let's have a look at here. No, it's not available. A bunch of big boxes on our screen here. And then somewhere in small print over there on the top we have, oh, there is something called details. Okay, let's do details. Okay, so here now we have our ranks: the bronze, the silver, the gold and the platinum. So we need, I don't know. I don't know what we need for platinum. I don't know what we need for gold. It's not showing us here. Was a feature available in the previous game. We had scores over here, so that you knew what is the next medal to go for. How much score do I need? How much points do I need to get there? You don't know. So we have to go again here in small print on the middle of your screen. You find leaderboard. So oh, it also doesn't show the medals here. It shows you some Ubisoft connection thing here. Everybody has the same thing in front of their name. We don't know, are these people in platinum? We assume they're in platinum because we are in platinum, but let's assume we are silver. So we scroll up a little bit. Where are the gold medals? Where are, I don't know. It's not here. So we have to go into the overall leaderboard in all. And now we're gonna have to scroll down for the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know, till eventually. Yeah, we're not gonna get there in this video, are we? We need to get to the 10,000 place to see what the platinum score is. We have to go to the 20,000 place to see what the gold score is. At least give us some options, some filter that we can select the 10,000 player, the 20,000 player, or way more simple, just do it like in the previous game and give us the scores for gold in that previous thing here. Over here, just give us scores here. Can't see it anywhere in this game. So they have copy pasted a bunch of stuff from the Crew 2 and they forgot some important things, like the scores here, like the quick swap button for performance parts and things like that. Now, still in that previous category where we talked about exclusive vehicles and all that kind of stuff. When you do your 9 events, at the end you will get some rewards next Wednesday whenever the summit resets. But you also have some personal things over here. So I even need to look. Oh, there we go. If you do 3 events, you get 50,000 XP. That's all very fine the first week when the main stage has reset, because it's 50,000 orange XP. It's for your orange box, for your competitive box in the main stage. In week 2, 3 and 4, when you already completed that thing, this thing is completely useless. You have 50,000 XP, it doesn't give you anything because you have completed the 4 levels in orange. So then it should give you yellow XP or something, it doesn't. It's 50,000 orange XP. Okay, let's go to the next reward. The Liberty Walk outfit. Now, there was something called the Toyota Supra Liberty Walk pre-order edition. Also here, exclusive. But you had to read the fine print. That was the exclusive pre-order. That was the car that you were getting if you pre-ordered. But you had to look like the small print, the fine print of that explanation of that car, to read that it was not so exclusive as it looked. It was only exclusive for 30 days. These 30 days are over now, so the Toyota Supra Liberty Walk is now available in the shop for everybody to buy with in-game bucks. There's only one problem with that. That Liberty Walk car came with an outfit if you pre-ordered the game, and it also came with an underglow. So they needed to come up with some sort of way to get that in. So they decided to put it over here. Here is the Liberty Walk outfit. If I go into my avatar customization, I have 2 of these outfits now. They didn't even give me my money back or so to say like, hey, you already have this, here is your money. That's what they do with car that you already have. Then you get a certain amount of bucks instead of getting the car again, because you can only own 1 car of every example. Not with the Liberty outfit. So now I have 2 exactly the same Liberty Walk outfits in my avatar customization. Because they needed to figure out a way to give this to the people who didn't pre-order the game. So they decided to put it right here. Do 6 events in the summit and you get it. But the car also, the pre-ordered car, also came with a Liberty Walk underglow. This week in the summit, for the platinum medal, what are we playing for? The Liberty Walk underglow. Exclusive underglow related to the pre-ordered car. That should never be here. There are people out there who have paid $100 and $120 for your game. Pre-ordered the game. They already have these things. So we are playing here. We need to grind through this summit. We are playing for a reward which we already have in our garage. Now, when we collect this next week, if we manage to keep it in platinum, when we collect this, we're gonna get some sort of a money bucks for it. But that should never be here. Put it in some sort of pre-order bundle where people can buy it for in-game bucks or whatever, and put that outfit, that Liberty Walk outfit and that underglow in that bundle, and that people buy it there if they had the standard edition. This is their way of giving the stuff that we already own to the standard players. I don't have a problem with that, but that should never be in here in some sort of grind for platinum weekly summit. Should not be here. That should never be here. The main stage, it's the monthly, the monthly reset, whatever you want to call it. Level 3 this month in the Japanese Legend month. Level 3 is the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution Red Fury Edition. This car has brought into the Crew 2 in April 2019. It was the first summit vehicle available in that game. The summit only was released in March 2019, I think, about 8-9 months after the release of the Crew 2. That's when they brought the summit, and in week 2 of that summit, the first premium summit, the ones which every 4 weeks there is a premium summit where you can win a vehicle, the first one in Crew 2 was this one. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10 Red Fury Edition. Again, why is that here? We had to import 500 cars from the previous game if we played the previous game. We have this car. Why are we playing again for something that we already own? Put these summit vehicles from the previous game, put them in a bundle somewhere, and let people who do not own these summit cars from the previous game, let them buy them there. For in-game bucks, not for crew credits, you greedy bastards over there at Ubisoft, because just for crew credits. Why do I say greedy bastards? Because have you looked at the prices of some of these things? A Valentine Underglow. In the previous game, an Underglow was something like 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 crew credits maximum. Basically $1, 10,000 crew credits. This is $7, 70,000 crew credits for an Underglow. V for Valentine. And don't be surprised that in February, when it's actually Valentine period, that you will see it show up in the summit or something. Huh? Because that's when you will normally get the Valentine rewards. I mean, these prices are ridiculous. Huh? This is $7. You see my crew credits over there. I have completed every single playlist. I did all the challenges. In some of the challenges, if you do 5 of them or 10 of them, you get a few crew credits. 3,000, 4,000. If you play through the whole 15 playlist, you have about 65,000 crew credits. Now, at a certain moment they did a maintenance, and the next day after the maintenance, the ones that you already collected, you could collect them again. Hence the fact that I have 81,000, again, a buck. Which brings us to annoyance number 2. We're sort of going back, right? We had the exclusive cars, the content, the bindings and all that kind of stuff. Which brings us to sort of number 4 of annoyances. Going sort of... We're working our way up to the top 3, right? We're playing a game called The Crew. You would expect that it would be easy to make a crew. It is. Once you, again, go through this whole menu stuff, go into your profile, you have something called crew management over here. You click play, you go to your friends list, or in your session if you want to find something. That is whenever they are loading, because the menu is usually a minute behind you, especially if you have a bit of a quick system. The menu is not so quick. We'll come to that later. So we can invite something, you can click on these names and you can invite the people, and then it says invitation sent. Because of reasons which I can only assume has to do something with the stupid crossplay, you invite somebody, they cannot accept in game. They have to press Shift F2 on a keyboard here if you're playing on PC to take you out of the game, to go to the Ubisoft Connect launcher, and then you sort of accept it there. It sort of works like the Xbox app in Forza. Completely useless. You're here playing the game in-game. In the previous game, you opened this thing, you invited the people, just... It had a pop-up on your screen, you just pressed the button and it was fine. You accepted the invite in-game. Now, because of the crossplay, because everything is crossplay here now. Not really, but you know what I mean. Now we have to go accept our invites out of the game, which causes all kind of troubles. You invite the first person, sure, no problem, he probably will get in. Now, it will probably get some pop-up saying that the person that you invited has declined your invite, and then 2 seconds later you're in a crew with that person, because for some reason or another it very often tells you that the person declined, and 2 seconds later or 5 seconds later you're still in a crew with him, because somehow or another they decided to put the invite through anyway. If you try to get a third person in, then it already becomes a bit more difficult. Then it's always a bit of wondering, is he going to get in or is he not going to get in? Yesterday we were playing with 3 people. I already showed you earlier a stream from a couple of days ago where we tried to get into a crew and do all of the crew stuffs in a playlist. If you watch that whole stream, it sort of sums it up all. How to make a crew in the crew and how it can be the most painful experience in a game called The Crew. So yesterday we were with 3 of us. I invited both of them, and the game told me after 30 seconds, 40 seconds, I don't know, it told me that person A declined, a bit later person B declined. So we were like, okay, it's not working, let's try somebody else. So somebody else of the crew started an invite, and from the moment they started inviting us, suddenly I'm in a crew with one of the other 2 and I'm the crew leader. So it was like the initial invite, which we sort of sent 5 minutes ago, eventually came true and we managed to get into a crew. Another 15 minutes later, eventually we had a crew of 3 people. Then you start driving around, you constantly lose session. If it's one of these stupid ghost racers, why are they on the map again, Fergus? Can somebody at Ivory Tower explain me why we have ghost racers on the map? Nobody likes them, they are annoying, they should not be there. Nobody is gonna follow them to learn tracks, people will do events to learn the tracks themselves. We don't need these ghost racers to tell us where to drive a certain track. That's the only reason they are there. If you follow them, then you can sort of learn the race tracks of the playlist or something like that. Every time they load in, you lose your session. If you approach a feat or a skill test, a slalom, escape, things like that, every time the first person on the leaderboard, that's the main ghost of that's these ghosts that you see on the speed traps and on the slaloms. That are these people who have like the number 1 in the leaderboard. Every time they load in, because if you pass by on one of those skill tests, they are always there, these ghosts. Every time they load in, you lose your session. Then there is some AI spawning in at some point because there is a player nearby and that's his traffic that is spawning in. That's the normal AIs. Those are not ghosting, you can hit those. Every time they spawn in, you lose your session. You constantly lose your session. So I'm kind of wondering, we know Crew 1 had peer-to-peer connection. We know the Crew 2 had peer-to-peer connection. I'm started wondering, are we still in 2023 on peer-to-peer connection? I would assume that in their 3rd game, they would eventually come up with dedicated servers. But seeing we have so many session losses and things like that, I'm assuming we do not have dedicated servers. I think we are still on peer-to-peer. So this is not something, if that is really true, then I can already tell you now, this is not something that's ever going to be fixed. We have been dealing with this shit 4 years in the Crew 1 and 5 years in the Crew 2. Session loss, you had to go to, in the Crew 2, to the Black Mount, to some area where there's not many people. You spawn there with your friends, then wait a few minutes till everybody's in the same session, and if you're then invited, then you usually immediately get into a crew, because there was nobody else there in that area. For us it was like the Black Mount was our place to go. What also helps is make sure, if you want to invite friends, get together on a Discord and just say, hey guys, let's do a crew thing, everybody reboots the game. Then you are in the same instance on the server, which increases your chance of making it work, because if you're closer positioned on the server, then it will connect quicker. If you have a guy playing already 30 minutes or an hour and some other friend joins him in the game, then he has like a fresh reboot, which is an hour different. Then you're somewhere an hour away on the position or the instance of the server. It's going to take ages to make a crew. So if you want to make a crew, I would advise you come online at the same time. In other words, let everybody reboot the game, and then you have a better chance of getting it. The fact that you're going to lose your session is going to happen from time to time, no matter what. So yeah, connection is still a thing. Which brings us to, the number 3 in my top of annoyances is probably the menu. We already talked about it many times. There is completely useless information here, like, I'm okay with the top. Main stage, live competition, it's pretty much, you have the summit, you have the grand race, demolition rail, custom show. Pretty much tells you, if you click on that, what's going to happen, where you're going to go, where you're going to end up. That's clear. Playlists, fine, you can go in those playlists. If you go in the playlist, you have events, side activities and challenges. Why didn't they have separated the side activities? No, they decided to make another row with challenges, but not the side activities. If you want to take anything out of those playlists, yeah, just take them both out. Make a row with side activities, make a row with challenges. And for the sake of us all, get all the rest of it. Brands, close track, chill. These are all the same playlists, just filtered with certain things. It's useless, completely useless information in here. Grand Race doesn't tell you the disciplines. Why is that not here? Get rid of all that crap that is on the bottom of your screen there. Get rid of it, make these boxes a bit bigger, and you can give us the 3 disciplines over there. Just like you do on the map, you can as well put them in here in the menu. Then we at least know, oh, it's 3 disciplines, okay, let me join. Or, no, I don't want to do drift or plane, I will not join. Simple, easy, saves us time. Now we have to go look on the map for Keymapping point and see if we can find the Grand Race symbol, put our cursor on it, and then we know which 3 disciplines it is. Again, waste of time. We are wasting a lot of time in this menu here. I've told you this before in the Crew 1 9 years ago in their first franchise game. We had a smartphone on the site, it had everything. Car list, customization, performance parts, tuning, invite crew, wiki page. If there was something that you didn't know, you could find it on a wiki which explained every feature of the game. We had other stuff to do there. There were like 15, 16 different icons. Each icon representing something. You could quit the game, you could go to photo mode, all that stuff was all there. You were in the game, you were playing the game, you were on the map. You could open that smartphone while you were driving. No problem, you could get to your stuff. Here you have to figure it out in a menu and a sub-menu and a sub-menu and a sub-sub-sub-menu, and then you will find it. Like I showed you earlier with, for instance, the leaderboard in the summit. You have to go 15 times in a sub-menu, figure of speech, to eventually find the leaderboard, and then come to the conclusion that that leaderboard is completely useless because it doesn't tell you the medals, it doesn't tell you the score that you need for the next medal, and so on. Completely useless, this whole menu. It needs to be simplified. The same with the vehicles, it's like, it's annoying. Go try to find a car in this thing here. Yes, you see 4 cars, you see 5 core, big pictures, 4 cars. But we have, in my case, 573 out of 607 cars. Good luck trying to find them. Then you have these stupid filters here. Oh, let's filter on car. Yeah, the only thing you do now is take out the bike, the boats, the planes, and the quad. You still have 400 and something cars in there. You still haven't figured it out. So you're gonna have to go to another sub-menu or filter. And then, okay, let's do Street Tier 2. You still have 200 cars. So, not good enough. So, now we already lost a bunch of stuff on our screen because it has to be these big things, because other people are blind probably. Country, completely useless. Brand, yeah, we can go brand. Okay, let's try to find Volkswagen. Scroll through that whole thing here to get Volkswagen. It's not even here. Apparently, there's no Volkswagen in Street Tier 2. And so on. So, we come to the conclusion, oh, it's wrong. Then you can go period, we have classics, modern, okay, great. Classic and modern, that tells us a lot. Where are the muscle cars, the sports cars, the super cars, the hot hatches, where are these categories? That would already help us a lot, if we had some sort of thing going on. Then you have style, there you can find it, but that should be sort of, why is the period different? Classic and modern, that's like a style on its own. Just put that in one filter. No, it has to be in separate filters. Eventually you come up, they show up here. But then you have sports cars, super cars, muscle, and that's it. Hot hatch, I'm guessing that's the other. There are way more categories. It would even help if you just give us more styles and only give us a styles filter. Or better yet, just give us a catalog from the Crew 2. Was that great? No. Was it better than this? 10 times. Because you could just scroll through the brand and you can find your car instantly. You know what you were looking for, right? Here you have to scroll through. In the Crew 1 we had like, I don't know what it was, 25? 25 or 30 icons from different brands. So we sort of had like a filter page where it just said Abarth, Audi, and you could find, and you had to scroll like once or twice to get all of them. Instantly, you could find these. Now you have to open a filter, go through these menus, and then you come to the conclusion, oh, I clicked on something on top on a filter, and now I don't have Volkswagen if I'm looking for a Volkswagen. Hopeless. Completely hopeless. This whole menu. This whole filter system. Completely hopeless. Way too much sub and sub menus and way too much useless information on it, and the things you want to know you probably will not be able to find. Because it's not only the activities, for instance, like the grand race, you know, things what people want to know. They want to know what are the disciplines, because some people don't like to fly plane. If there is a plane in there, they want to do it. If there is drift, they don't want to do it, or whatever. Just give us somewhere on that thing here, show us the disciplines. Here, make sure people can get easily to the leaderboard and see the difference between silver, gold and platinum, that they know what score to get, that they know how many points do they need, or how much do they need to go above to make sure that they have it by Wednesday, or things like that. Here you have like menu and sub menu, and then you go into the summit, then you're still nowhere. Then you get this overview here, who cares? Then you go in here, you see the 9 events, that's all fine. We're still not on the leaderboard. Big squares on your screen, but like in fine small print up there, you have to go into details, then you have to go into leaderboard, and then you come to the conclusion that's completely useless because it doesn't tell you anything. It tells you your name and your, I think you know your name, and it tells you your rank and your score, which you can see right here on the first page when you go into the summit. It tells you your rank and your score. That's it. And then you have when you go in there, after 5 clicks, you can filter on the platform and on your friends, and that's about it. The things you want to know are not in there. Grand race, the things you want to know, not in there. Which brings us to the map and Cara and all that kind of bullshit. Annoyance number 2. I'm trying to get into the game, give me a second. I'm pressing 15,000 buttons again. Menu is trying to catch up. Press escape, you always end up in the menu, doesn't work. So we press leave, that was what it is in the previous game, mapped on L. Doesn't do anything. Okay, apparently it's T, which was in the previous game the tool menu, which was also some sort of box which opened on the side. You could quit the game, open your photo mode, things like that. Also, sort of a simplified version of the smartphone from the Crew 1. We had the tool menu on the side. In this game, it just takes you... Because that makes sense, right? If you leave a building, you have to press T on a keyboard by default. That makes sense. Normally you would put it on L for leave, but no, it's on T. By default it's on T because it's a button they have left over from the tool menu from Crew 2, which is not in this game, so it's T now. Then we are in the map. We are now going to expand our minimap with V.
What can I do for you, driver?
Oh no, we can't expand our minimap because apparently we need a personal assistant. That personal assistant is the most annoying feature in the whole game, except for one, but so let's put our number 2.
Hello, driver. How can I help you?
You can't. Go back to Fergus. I don't need you. Every day she sends me to the German manufacturer. She's telling me some story that I don't want to hear. She wants to go me to the Porsche every time I come out of this main stage. She puts a waypoint on my map. I don't know what she's doing. She wants to send me to the Porsche playlist. I've completed that thing 100%. If I am somewhere else on the map, she's gonna send me to the Lamborghini playlist, which I completely 100%. I don't know. I don't know why she's here. I don't know why we need her. So, okay, let's get rid of her. Give me a second. I'm going through the menu again. She's probably in audio and language, right? Oh, there she is. Cara. Let's put her off, I was about to say, but she's already off. As you could hear, she was still there. She's off in the menu. Again, you can also relate this to the menu if you want. But I take her out specifically because she's the most annoying feature out there. Now, what you can do is you can go to voices. You can scroll this thing here to 0, then you don't hear her anymore. Does that solve your problem? No. because she's still there and she's still gonna put waypoints on your map and she's still gonna send you to who knows where. You don't need her. That over here on the bottom on my mini-map, that needs to go. Get it out of my game. Fergus, whoever is responsible, Sofian, PR team, I don't know, whoever, one of the devs, get it out. And give me the option to open that mini-map so that I can see the road on the left and up top where I need to go. And get this Cara woman out of here. We have seen it. I'm 100% done with this game. When it comes to content. Playlists are done. I don't need her to send me to the next playlist. If I need her, I will call her, right? If you need her at the beginning of the month or something, if you want to link your main stage stuff, right? These things here, that's where she comes in. Eh? You click on here, exploration, then she comes in, she puts a waypoint to the next skill test or in the direction of a loot box, and that's where you can fill up this green category. If you press here, then she gets confused because she doesn't know anything about this, because this is of course either the summit, the grand race or demolition royale. That is what the orange box is. Then she gets confused, then you don't hear her, because there's nothing on the map which directly can get you to the summit. There's nothing on the map which directly can get you to the grand race. So that doesn't work. So then she gets confused. She doesn't know where to send you because this is not on the map, right? And then the playlist, if you press A here or enter or whatever it is on your device, then she will put you on the map and she will send you to the next close by playlist from an event that you already did. So it needs to be a playlist you already played. If you've done all the playlists, then she will send you from one event to another. And that usually means that you come out of an event, she will send you to the next one, which is usually a few hundred meters away, maximum. And you do the next event till you eventually filled up this blue box and have done the 4 categories over here. And once you have done one of these categories, there is the Japanese street race cars are this week the boosted cars. They come with a 5% boost. The rest you can get. Eventually you get it to 30%, but you need to get this thing here. Level 3 gives you 5% over here. And also in this box, if you complete this, here it is sitting at level 2, will give you an extra boost of 5%. And here it is sitting at level 1, will give you an extra. So that makes it go from 5 to 20% already, and then you will unlock, once you have one of those 3 colors completed, you will unlock the yellow bar, and also here at level 1 is an extra 10%, which eventually, after a few hours of playing, you will get that boosted cars from 5 to 30%, and that will, the rest of the month, they are on 30%. In this case, all the Japanese street cars. Which of course means which brings us to annoyance number 1. The performance part. The performance bar system. People hated it for 5 years. People still hate it. People don't want it. People just want to shop. They don't want a RNG drop rate system. People give up on that shit. People already moved on. They're playing Forza Motorsports, whatever. They're in a bit. They will, a couple of days from now, there are some playtests in TDU. There is WRC esports coming out. EA Sports, I should say, WRC, coming out the 1st of November. People are not gonna play around here, drive around this island for hours and hours to drop 200 parts and then get about 9 yellow parts, gold parts. That's about it. That is what you get. And then you get them, and then you have to go in that menu, gonna have to re-roll your bonuses. One player will get it after 2 rerolls, another player is gonna get whatever he's looking for after 80 rerolls. It's stupid, it is annoying, you can't do anything with it. Meanwhile, the XP boosted idiots are here out there with their scripts and macro uses again. It's against their own terms of service. They do not follow their own terms of service at Ivory Tower, nor Ubisoft. BattleEye is not detecting anything. I don't know why we have to accept that every time when we start up this game. That thing is not detecting anything. There are glitchers or cheaters on the leaderboards of the summit. They go a minute faster than anybody else. Then not just anybody else, no, than the fastest drivers in the game. They're going undercutting them with a minute, obviously with upgraded cars and things like that, so it's pretty obvious they are either glitch abusing or cheating. These guys are pretty obvious, even with an XP magnet set completely maxed out. 7 yellow parts with XP magnet and the legend maxed out to 4%. You can get 500-600 levels a month. 30 days, 500-600 levels. These idiots over here, they're on level 3700 after not even week 3 into the month. Get them one by one, kick them out, reset their account, put them on level 1, take away their legendary point, give them a 4-week ban, I don't care, get them out, and increase the gold part drop rate so that all of us can get our yellow parts. It is ridiculous, the drop rate at this moment. From what I hear, it used to be 30% in events and 20% on skill tests. But because of this shit happening here, they didn't want these people to get too many yellow parts. They already decreased it. Now it is the gold drop rate is 20% in events and 10% on skill tests. At least that's what they claim. Out of experience, I can tell you that's total bullshit. There is no way, if you are finding 100 parts out there, that you're gonna get 20 yellows from an event. It's not happening. These numbers are completely bullshit. They have been dropped somewhere by one of the devs on a Discord. Completely bullshit. It's not even close. There are people who have been grinding for 7 hours to find their one yellow part they were looking for. 7 hours over and over the same event. With loot digger sets, completely maxed out with Lucky and Goldfinger. The drop rate is hold back. That's what they're doing. They're holding it back. They can increase or decrease that drop rate whenever they want. We know it from the previous game. They did a boosted event where the loot boxes were suddenly increased to 50-60% gold drop rate. All of these loot boxes had the yellow parts all over the place. The devs are playing with us here with these gold drops parts. And people are, oh, recalibrate Lucky and making videos on YouTube. Recalibrate Lucky. Don't even bother with it. It's all in the hands of the devs. If they increase the drop rate, you will get more yellows. If they decrease it, you will not get, no matter how much Lucky you have on your car. We are held back by the devs. The drop rate of the gold parts is very, very low. It's definitely not 20% in events. It's probably 5% and 2.5% on skill tests. That would be my guess. That's probably closer to the truth than what they are claiming. Which also brings me to the next fact. I have just been playing the game. I have not been grinding anything, specifically for gold parts. I've just been playing the game. What does that mean? I've done a lot of grand race, including a bunch of hypercar races. I have 6 gold parts on hypercar. 6. Out of the potential 42 that you can get. There are 42 different yellow parts in every discipline. Meaning 6 different set bonuses, and you need 7 of them to make the set bonus active. Also something some people still haven't figured out. They're making videos out there. Oh, you have yellow parts and this and that, and then they have a mix of yellow parts. No, you need 7 of the same. 7 nitro chemists, 7 score breakers, and so on. Which means you need to get 42 gold parts to get everything done. 300 hours of gameplay. All my playlists are completed. I have done a bunch of grand races. I've done a bunch of skill tests on the map. All kind of stuff going out there. This is my sniffer car in Street Tier 1 after 300 hours of gameplay. I have these 6 gold parts since week number 3 in the game, or 2.5 I think. I am not for the sake of anything getting that last yellow part. So we have 6. This is my nitro chemist. I have 5 yellow parts. So that's 11. This is my bugs magnet, where we have 2 of them. $13. We have 5 score breakers, which puts the total at 18. Also here, no set. We are missing 2 of them to make it active and actually make the score breaker count. So 18. Here we have my loot digger, which gives you more points and increases the quality of the parts. I have 2. I cannot open loot boxes with a loot digger set because I have 2 parts. So where are we? 20? Which leaves us with the XP magnet set. So let's grind some XP for the main stage. I have 5. 25 yellow parts on Street Tier 1 out of the 42 after 300 hours of gameplay. Normal gameplay, grand races, we have completed all the playlists, everything done in the playlist. A couple of hours of grand race. We have 25 out of 42. This is my best discipline. Out of 14 disciplines. There are 14 disciplines out there. There are 42 yellow parts that you need to get. That's 588 or something. Close to 600 yellow parts we need to find. 300 hours of gameplay. The best I have is just over half in my best discipline. If you wonder why people moved on to Forza Motorsports and other games, people are not... 300 hours of gameplay in a month. A casual player is gonna take 3-4 months to get 300 hours of gameplay. This system, Mr. Fergus, is trash. It always has been trash. We have been telling it for you for 5 years. And please, Mr. Sofian from the PR team, don't come up with this bullshit talk. We will talk to the community after the release. You told the same thing 5 years ago. Just don't. Just give us a shop. Let us go to that tuner shop, just like in your first game 9 years ago. Let us buy these sets. Give me a pay magnet with XP magnet. How much is the price? 1 million? Fine. We will pay it. I am sitting on 11 million here. It's only going up because I don't need any cars. I spent 25 million buying every single of the new cars in the game. Cost you about 25 million. Other than that, the money only going up. The only reason you use this stupid money is to re-roll these stupid bonuses on this stupid RNG system, which nobody wants to begin with. How on earth have you copied that system, which was trash? 85% of the community didn't like it. You have been hearing that for 5 years. How on earth have you managed to bluntly copy that into the new game? Which you have been working on since 2019 or whatever, that's 4 years. I'm pretty sure in 4 years' time you could have come up with a better performance system, upgrading, tuning, whatever you want to call it. But no, it's your hard-headed over there, Mr. Stubborn Fergus, who wants this thing in the game. It's even completely super excited about it if you hear him talk about it. Get it out of here, man. Get it out of here. People leave the game because of this. People are not gonna grind for yellow parts, you know. More and more races in the grand race, you see people not starting. Those are script users. They're grinding XP in the grand race, trying to get parts that way. You have people in your convention session, your convention center speed trap. Your whole session, 8 players in a session, you are standing there, which means there are 7 other players. The whole session is using scripts, doing the speed trap to get their XP and parts. Get this system out of here. It will reduce the cheesers and the script users and the macro users, and people will just go and buy them. Everybody's playing the game. You get 40,000 standard if you finish a grand race. If you win the grand race, you get 100,000. Money is not the problem. We will have enough money to buy sets. Give us a full set Nitro Chemist with pure and extra pump maxed out. 500,000 bucks, no problem. We will pay it. Even 1 million we will pay. Get this stupid system out of here. Annoyance number 1. This performance system. How on earth did they bluntly copy that from the previous game? That makes no sense to me. Which leaves me with the fact that I am not going to grind for this. Not in a million years. I don't know when I'm going to get it. In 2024, in 2025. I eventually will have my yellow parts. I don't know. Does it matter? Not really. It matters for the summit. The summit is full of cheaters. There are people playing on a controller, and in their device system it says 8 shifter plus manual clutch. Why? Because you can macro it. Again, we have these macros. They have found a way around it because you cannot put the manual clutch on the controller, I believe. That's some counter action they did to avoid the macro shifting, which has been going on for years in the Crew 2. Unfortunately, people have found already a new way with a certain program. They have now it on 8 shifter plus manual clutch, although they're playing with a controller. I'm pretty sure you don't have an 8 shifter on a controller. Just give us a shop, give us these yellow parts that people can buy yellow parts and participate in the summit properly. Now people are playing, you have to recalibrate your purple parts to get skills on it to do a slalom, otherwise you're not even in the platinum, things like that. Ridiculous. This performance system, #1 annoyance in this game. More and more you see it, obviously, on videos on YouTube. More and more you see it show up as the biggest trash in the game. And that's also what it is. And they know that, we have been telling them that for 5 years. But for some reason or another, is this a new team? Do they not communicate with the other team? Very possible. I don't know. We have the same thing. This game has some good gameplay in such a way. It's a new map, it's something new to explore. The map is way too small. This works fine for Forza boys or Need for Speed boys probably. For a player from the crew, he's sort of done with it. I thought I was gonna be done with it like after 6 months, but turns out after 4 months I'm done. After 4 weeks I'm done with it. Content-wise, I mean. We're still playing. I'm still helping my friends to get their challenges done or to get their playlists done or whatever. But content-wise, it's waiting on December till they drop in a few new playlists that we can play around that give us some content. Map exploration. Do we need to explore anything? I think I know every tree and every cave on this whole map because it's way too small. By just playing the playlist and doing grand races, you know the map by heart. You know every corner. Grand race, yeah, that's fine for 30 minutes or an hour. You can't play that thing for 3 hours because then you get bored with it. Every single person knows the track. Every single person knows that gutter cutting is faster than whatever. The cars itself, after an hour or so, they start losing grip on the front as well. Probably some desync crossplay thing. Who knows? They're sliding all over the place, but it doesn't matter because you don't want to stay on the road. You do that gutter cut, which gives you a huge advantage on every corner. Other than that, it's a ramming festival. You have 5, 6, 7 people who can actually drive a car in that 28 players. The rest are busy ramming each other into a wall. They do not brake, they use you as brake, they use you as a wall, they wall ride you and you get smashed into the wall. They don't get a penalty for that, nobody's ghosting, it's all ramming festival. It's a joke. And that is, if you have completed the playlist, that's the only other thing to do, is Grand Race or Demolition Royale. If you really want to ram, go play Demolition Royale. That is, if you can find the players in the cornfields with super high grass where you can't see where you're going. Unless you put the camera on second camera from behind, which you want to make the physics more realistic, then also give us the option to see where we're going if we put it on either hood cam or more realistic in cockpit view. Try doing a grand race like this. You're plowing through a field, you don't even know where you're going. You can't see anything in front of you except for high grass and cornfields, and suddenly there's a barn or something like that where you crash into. So you have to put your camera like any noob from the cameras behind. I mean, you don't drive a car like this in real life, do you? I know it's arcade, but point being, the same in planes. The camera is way too low. Boats, some of the boats you don't see anything. Just make grand races where people can see where they drive. Why are we plowing through a field with a rally car while it's obviously off-road? We need to be in a higher vehicle, in an SUV, in a rally raid. That would make sense. But no, they're putting us through fields in a rally car because there are no dirt roads on the map. They can't give us a proper dirt track because there are 4 dirt roads on this whole map. Because of course, your map is too small. Something we already feared for. This is it then. Need for Speed, Forza style. I think it's even smaller than most of them. So yeah, we have to wait till eventually they bring in that island. Hopefully there are a bunch of dirt roads on that island. If they're copying everything from Forza, I wouldn't even be mad if they would give us a big island with some sort of rally adventure expansion like they did in Forza with only dirt roads. Then at least we can use these rally cars properly somewhere. Maybe another island where you give us some toge runs for drift, because also drift completely useless on this map. There are somewhere on the mountain, on the volcano there are 2 zigzag roads and that's it. Other than that, drift is something they throw in there. There are like 2 drift events. And then they even had to put like a tower on the map to make it happen because there were no drift roads. Drag, yeah, what's that? Like something like, oh, we had it in the crew too, let's bring it over and give them 2 drag events or something like. It's a joke. The boats totally make no sense. Unless you can go from island to island, the boats would make sense. The same with the planes. This map is too small to even start with a plane before you're good and well into the air. You're on the other side of the map. Makes no sense. Power boats, way too big and powerful. You should have brought over the jet sprint. They would make jet sprint and hovercrafts would make more sense on this map than the power boats and the planes do. It really does. But those are the two disciplines they didn't bring over. Obviously, this was a pretty negative video with all the annoyances. But these are like the things, you know, that they probably do not want to talk about, but things that we do want to mention and want to let them know. And hopefully one of them sees this video and starts thinking about how they can solve this. Because it's not just my annoyances, obviously. I'm pretty sure most of you are not happy with Miss Cara there bothering you the whole time. And I'm pretty sure that most of you are hating the grind for performance parts again. That's a sort of, and the menu you probably also hate. That's like the top 3 of annoyances. The rest is some personal things. But I also like it, even when I started with the bindings, how is it possible that 9 years in the franchise you can still not empty your keyboards or bindings or your wheel bindings and just say like, hey, I want this on this button, and that's UI style. How is that possible? In 2023, every game you can just reset the whole page and put the things on the buttons that you want. It also recognizes your game. If you put it on a blue button, then it's a blue button. My wheel is a Trustmaster TSPC racer. I have blue buttons, green buttons, yellow buttons, red buttons. In the menu it says X, A, Y and B. So apparently it considers every wheel to be a Xbox controller or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at this. 300 hours of gameplay. We are done with the playlist, which was their main feature in this game. We have seen every angle of the map, which of course was to be expected on such a small map. Grand Race is a remming festival, so it pretty much is now wait till the beginning of the month when the main stage resets. Then you can get some legendary points eventually, and then every week there is a summit, which bunch of reset cuts. Also something, do we even want to talk about that? Nope, we already know it. Again, they have put the checkpoint on the wrong place, so people are using the reset cut because it's still not disabled. Back on track, rewind, all of that shit. If you want to make real competition in a summit, you disable that function. Disable that key, that people cannot use it. If you're doing a competition, you don't need it. If you make a mistake, you're gonna retry the event anyway. You're not gonna rewind, you're not gonna go back on track. No, it's only there to be abused. Get it out. Very simple. In summit events, disable back on track. Problem solved. Then you don't even need to put your checkpoints on other places. This week's summit, there are, I think in 3 of the races are reset cuts. I mean, competition they call it. That's why I didn't even mention it in this annoyance video, because in general, we're 1 month into the Crew Motorfest and I feel like I'm playing the first month of the Crew 2. It's the same things, the same annoyances. Also here we have some extra ones like with Cara and so. But you know, it's the same thing. Early 2018 we had the same thing. People were recent cutting. There were script users trying to get icon 9999 because you made leaderboards based on XP, which makes totally no sense. You have cheesers in the summit because you're not clearing out the leaderboards and Battle is not detecting anything. We are back in early July, August 2018. Couple of months the release of the Crew 2. We had that same feeling. We are same feeling here, but only 5 years forwarded. Over time the Crew 2 has improved. You would think that they would have copy-pasted those improvements, like for instance the quick step button, where you can change all 7 parts with 1 click on a button to another car, instead of taking up all 7 parts separately and putting all 7 on the other car again. That's sort of, after 300 hours of gameplay, that's feeling that I have. I've told it already a couple of times, and my teammates sort of have the same feeling. They're saying the same thing, like, yep, we're back in the Crew 2. Early days of the Crew 2, we're grinding for these parts with this RNG system that nobody likes. We have these reset cutters in the summit because the checkpoints are in the middle of nowhere, completely useless, where they place them, and then people are abusing the system, either with macro scripts to get XP, or they are using it by back on track with reset cuts in summits, and you name it. H shifter, manual clutch to macro the shifting so they can go faster. All that kind of bullshit, yeah, that's not is helping you out there to make this a good game in such a way. Right, content wise, you have your playlist. If you play a little bit through it, you're done with it in about 4 weeks. If you play a bit slower, then it might take you 6 or 8 weeks, but then you're gonna be done with it, and then it's waiting till season number 2 in December, where they will probably add 1 or 2 or 3 new playlists that you can play through in, and then wait another 4 months for the next one. That's what you get if you put on a small map, small features, small players, because the players will move on. They go to the next one. End of October we have playtest number 2 in TDU Solar Crown. We have WRC coming out. Beginning of next year we have TDU Solar Crown coming out. If you do not expand this island very quickly with new islands and new content, people will go play that. They will just move on from game to game, play that for a half a year, and then we'll probably have Forza Horizon 6 coming out. Then they move to there. You're talking about going on with this game for 3 years. What are you gonna do on this island? If you do not put some extra islands on this thing, this is not gonna last for 3 years. This is not the Crew or the Crew 1 where you have 2000 square mile map where you could drive around on for ages with your friends. That's not happening here. People have seen, just by completing the playlist, people have seen your whole map already. We're 1 month into the game. Anyway, my annoyances with this game after 300 hours of gameplay. Obviously, yeah, there's not much positive out there, because that's why you call it annoyances. The playlist itself is also an annoyance, because, you know, we import 500 cars and we could not use them. So yeah, we put it out there. Hopefully they see it, hopefully they do something with it, and helps the rest of us out a little bit, because like now I didn't stream yesterday, I probably will not stream today, because I don't know what to do in the game. I have done the playlist. The gold parts are totally not dropping, no matter what you do it. If you do the grinding for parts, you do the grand race, you do the loot boxes, you don't get any gold parts. We don't need green, we don't need blue, we don't need purple. They're all trash parts. We only want yellows, and we can't get them. We cannot go to a tuner shop and say, like, give me. We have enough money to buy all sets, but it's not available. You have to grind through this, pick up hundreds of green and blue and purple parts, which you cannot do anything with. You have to trash them out. You spent hours in that menu. I've played 300 hours of gameplay, I do say. I spent more than half of that in the menu, I'm pretty sure. Looking for something which you cannot find in the menu because it's completely useless, or trying to find a car, or scrapping parts, recalibrating, all that menu stuff. People want to play on the bloody map. They want to drive around, want to fly around, want to sail around. They want to be on the map with their friends having fun. They don't want to spend hours in a dumb, stupid menu. Get it out of here, simplify it. Give us the smartphone back from the Crew 1, make everything available there while we are driving on the map. How on earth have you come up with this? I have no idea. How did that get through? I mean, who on earth got invited into playtests and workshops, and what did you invite over there? People who were just happy to be there again and don't speak up? Because if you invited some players out there who know the Crew 2, they would have killed your performance system, and that thing, if you would have followed them, that thing will never be in the game. Anyway, have fun with it, dear Ivory Tower and Ubisoft, but you're gonna have to improve this thing, or people will move on very quickly. That's all we got for now today, folks. My personal annoyances with the Crew Motorfest. We also had some fun on it. That's might do another video on that, which are the good points. But the annoyances, we had to sum them up. We had to talk about the things which apparently everybody is, ooh, cool. But There are a lot of things which people do not talk about, and that needs to be seen by Ivory Tower, because a lot of it is taught the same thing. I've been looking at the forums, I've been looking at the Discord. People are complaining about the same things that I have been complaining about in this video. So it's a community thing. It's not a personal RMD thing. No, it's a community thing. Most of them that I have mentioned. So wake up, Ivory Tower, Ubisoft, and do something about it. That will be it, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you, hopefully in a more positive video, next time. See you guys then. Bye bye.